welcome to today's Just Chopsing Podcast. And today I'm with David, and David is from a band called Lucid Dreams. Now, I've been looking up Lucid Dreams, and it says you're actually a three-piece, but you're not really a three-piece, you're a two-piece.
Or 2.5 piece.
And you're very, what did I see? Described as pop gaze or something? I don't know what it was. Gaze, not gaze, Gaze,
Yeah. Well, we try to gaze a lot. We try to gaze at various types of genres. We've been described as euphoric dream pop. Some say synth pop. It's up to others to define what they hear in our music. But as soon as there's gaze in it, I'd say we're heading in the right direction, definitely. So there is always some psychedelic aspect to our music. It's dream pop, it's euphoric. We try to have this pushing element that makes you want to dance and move, but we also want to have this dream-like and then psychedelic aspect that makes your mind move. So probably on the intersection of those two.
Yeah. I found it very chilled, if you like. So, because I was listening to it today at work, I listened to your whole, did you have an album on Spotify?
Yes, exactly. Last year.
So I think I had it on loop because it just kept playing and playing all the time. So, I was checking it out. But I came across you on Twitter, and you're from Vienna. That's what it was. Somebody mentioned you in a tweet and said you were from Vienna.
Yes, exactly.
So what's the music scene like in Vienna then?
Basically, Austria is a very musical country. We have a lot of classical history, but this kind of also shows that we live in the shadows of our past. So we want to move on, we want to move forward, and that's why I try to move out of Austria as often as possible, because I find it so interesting to experience, for example, music in Croatia. We've been to Croatia this May. 2 weeks ago, we've been to the UK. And I find foreign music cultures much more interesting. That is not to say that Vienna doesn't have, good bands, good music scene. There's a lot of electronic going on at the moment. With techno clubs opening, and a lot of niche musics from all different types of genres, I would say.
Oh, right, okay. Is it a bit like going back in time a little bit? Is it a bit like Berlin in the 80s then?
Could be, absolutely. I mean, we do have our pop stars as well. We have 2 or 3 bigger, or actually really, really big bands that are, very famous they are German speaking, very famous in Germany and Switzerland also. And a lot of groups who try to emulate that now. But in general, there is a very basic approach to music, and basic in the best way, a very true to culture and true to self-expression that can be found in Viennese or Austrian music, I would say.
Okay, all right, cool. So it's mostly electronic then.
Well, also, yeah, we also have a lot of singer-songwriters who try to, get their message and their emotions across, and who are doing a really good job in this. So yeah, I would say it's the variety that makes Vienna special. So you really have from down tempo to really fast techno, from singer-songwriters to the pop stars. You will get it all. And there are those areas also where those musicians and bands and artists mingle, so there is some kind of overlap. But in general, I have the impression that everybody has to or everybody is trying to push his or her project in the best way possible. And I've seen much more camaraderie abroad. So there might be some sort of unique trait to Viennese souls, but I would say that's not up to me to decide or to judge whether that's a good thing or not.
Oh, right, okay, yeah, I guess. So we were talking about just now, you were a three-piece, and you alluded to you being a two and a half piece, if you like. But the third member of your band is AI.
In the beginning, yes, you're right. In the beginning, said we call our third band member an AI, but then we looked up, or we engaged more with the whole technical side of things, and said, since there is in the system there is no machine learning involved, we went for AB, an artificial band member, and
Oh,
this artificial band member is called Lucy,
yeah.
and it's heavily involved in the creation of our songs. So the way it happens is that we have created a system of effects, and it's 7 or 8 guitar effects, so analog effects coupled one after the other, and then we also have some parameters in our recording program, and we send sounds into the system and let the system for 10 to 15 minutes do with these sounds whatever it wants. So we keep saying that this is an endless stream that this system, the artificial band member Lucy, keeps having over and over again. And after 10, 15 minutes, there is it is very often the case that we can hear some patterns, some rhythms, some melodies in this ocean of noise, in what Lucy has created. And then we try to adapt and adjust a couple of smaller parameters to make this melody or this pattern more audible, so that we can perceive it better. And we end up then recording this pattern. And based on this pattern or this melody, we eventually write new songs. And this is why we ended up, the connection to this artificial band member has become such an intimate one that we decided to give it a name, to give it a voice, and to have it very, very prominent in our band name.
Okay, that's sounds really technical to me. So it's like it goes a bit over my head. Is it like?
Well, it's yeah, go ahead.
Is it really technical?
Well, it depends how you define technical. It's a couple of effects, like from our effect rack,
Yeah.
coupled together with cables, and we send something into this system, and just let the system do whatever it wants. And sometimes it comes up with incredible ideas, and sometimes it's just white noise.
Yeah.
We end up with white noise that we can't really do anything with. But that's the beauty of it. It's the spontaneity and the unexpected things that very often give us the impulse to create something new.
Yeah. So what sort of instruments do you guys play then? Because you obviously play guitar then. Or at least one of you plays guitar.
Exactly. We were both, taught very classically, given the fact that we're Austrians.
Yeah.
I studied the piano when I was young, very, very quickly moving on to the guitar afterwards. And Phil, my colleague, is playing the bass. So those are our three main instruments. But obviously, once you go to the studio and you have a synthesizer standing there, and you just push one of the buttons, and it goes like crazy,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you're intrigued by what you're hearing, you just fool around with the synthesizers as well. And the only thing we can't really play properly in this band setting would be the drums. But there are good options. You can do it in the box. You can have loops. You can invite friends who are good drummers to kind of record your stuff. You got a lot of options there.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Yeah, like, it goes way over my head, but it's like, yeah, it is really very electronic then. It's electronically based, if you like.
Yeah, it is. What was the last instrument you touched?
My guitar.
Your guitar. Yeah, well then we share a passion here, I would say.
Yeah, I'm not very good, mind. I'm rubbish.
Well, as long as you have fun, I would say that's the most important. That's the most important thing, and quality in playing, or a certain set of skills, only comes second or third, I would say. And if you
Yeah,
pick
just I don't know.
over,
I wish I could be better, but I'm just rubbish. So
well, that's a question. Like, it's probably some sort of sign of our times, that we have to be better and better and better. But shouldn't the measurement of quality of something be the degree of fun that you're having doing something?
Yeah, it should be if you look at it like that. But I'm really competitive, and I'm even more competitive with myself as well. So if I'm failing, I'm like, no, I need to keep going, you know. And it's
Well, then
just
you
like,
should invite, I don't know, David Gilmour on your podcast and give you some guitar lessons then.
yeah, I think you would charge me too much, especially know how much work you have to put in to give me a decent lesson. So, do you know who the biggest star to come out of Austria is then?
What's that? Sorry.
Who is the biggest star to come out of Austria?
Well, I would say if we consider the entire history of music, then I would say it's Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, and
Oh,
the big of all time. He just he created everything that all the bands and musicians draw from or have been drawing from over the last centuries. It's just the melodies, certain chord progressions. That's basically it's all those things stem from one or a few persons, and Mozart was definitely among them. If we have a look at more recent times, then there is a guy called Falco, which
oh yeah, I remember Falco. Yeah,
I remember, and this is definitely, probably the biggest pop star ever to come, the biggest pop star
yeah.
ever to come from Austria. I think he's still, if I remember correctly, he's still the only German speaking and German singing artist ever to top the Billboard charts.
Okay.
Or it was the only German-speaking song ever to top the Billboard charts. A track called "Rock Me, Amadeus." And
Yeah,
there
yeah, I
again, it's a
remember
nice
it.
to the past. Like Amadeus is obviously a reference to Mozart.
Yeah,
So yeah, the
yeah. It wasn't
popification.
all in German, though, was it?
Er war ein Punker und er lebte in einer großen Stadt. It was like the verse is German, and then he's singing like Amadeus, Amadeus.
Yeah, but he
Or
did sing an English version as well.
yeah, like he kind of he for the first time combined those two languages, which has become rather popular in more recent years to as a German or English speaking band to include also English lyrics.
Yeah. Well, what about Nina? Nina also did it.
Yeah, definitely. I think she's German.
Yeah, she's
If
German. Yeah, but she
I
also did the.
absolutely, exactly. I really dig her stuff. It's really, really well written, well produced synth pop.
Yeah, yeah. But that's where we difference where we differ. See, because you've come straight back at me with musical artists as the biggest stars to come out of Austria,
Hmm.
and my mind's totally somewhere else.
All right. Where's your mind?
My mind's going with the Governator, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, he's amazing. Like he's such an inspiration. What he's doing now, what he was doing when he was younger, the way he he led his life. There is a brilliant podcast episode with Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's
Yes.
on the Tim Ferriss show. I don't know if you're familiar
Yeah,
with
yeah, yeah.
it's amazing, and he talks about his way of life and how he got to where he is now. And
Okay,
there's
yeah.
just
Go on.
one episode, for example, he was a millionaire even before starring in his first film.
Yeah, I
So
know.
I think he was a bricklayer,
Yeah,
and back back in the was it 60s, 70s, 50s, 60s, 70s
yeah,
in the United States, there was a big demand of European style built houses, and he just engaged in this trend, and apparently he kind of created his own bricklayer company and had all his bodybuilder friends work for him, and
yeah,
obviously they appreciated working for him. Why? Because they could be in the sun all the day, so they had like a very nice tan on their skin. And number two, they would be, you know, working out the whole day, carrying around bricks.
Yeah.
So like his mindset is amazing. And what he's doing now, he's working a lot in afternoon programs for kids in California.
Yeah.
And this is, in my opinion, incredibly important because um, you know, as a kid, you have two options. You you are, you know, you have a program in the afternoon, and you are, you know, in good company of fellow students and of friends, or you don't have this program, you are bored, and you might end up joining violent gangs or drug gangs. And apparently, this is a massive issue in the US. As I said, I don't know enough about that, but apparently, Schwarzenegger is doing an amazing job here. And also, that's the second fascinating aspect about him, what he's doing these days. He's working so much towards the protection of planet Earth.
Okay.
So he's an amazing, like he's, yeah, beyond amazing. It's
Yeah,
great.
yeah. I
And
watched. He's got like a
wow,
3-part series on Netflix at the moment.
about him.
Also,
Okay.
just where he just it's just basically him talking about his life.
Oh wow, I gotta check that out then.
Yeah, it's either called Arnold or Schwarzenegger, one or the other. I can't really remember. I
Okay.
watched
Yeah.
it,
Is it
but
good?
yeah, yes. I mean, already knew most of it
Mm-hmm.
because yeah, I've pretty much followed his career. I mean, I trained a lot when I was younger, and
Okay.
so who really hasn't followed his career?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, he's one of them guys that you can't fail to miss. Really.
True. Absolutely. Absolutely. Everybody knows, you know, phrases like "I'll be back" or um, what he was doing as a bodybuilder, and
Yeah.
that he eventually became a politician working towards super important aspects. But it's not always that he was appreciated back home in Austria. There was this issue where probably 15, 20 years ago, where there was a big discussion regarding the death penalty in California. And he took a stance that was not well accepted in Austria at all. So the stadium in Graz, there's a club called Sturm Graz, like Storm Graz, and it used to be called Arnold Schwarzenegger Stadion.
Okay.
And they eventually took off the name and named it after some, you know, unimportant company.
Yeah.
I don't know if the company had their say in this one, but there was just, you know, when he was advocating pro death penalty, people kind of, you know, it just took the name of the stadium for unfortunate event, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. So he got cancelled pretty much.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a shame, innit? I mean, yeah, cancel culture, it can get out of hand a little bit, I suppose.
True. Absolutely. But yeah, I'm proud I'm sharing the same nationality as this superhero.
He is. He was very, well, I say he was, he's still alive, he's not dead, but he's very driven, isn't he? You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's fascinating.
Yeah.
And was he what's it called? Somebody you looked up to when you were lifting yourself?
Yeah, yeah, of course. I mean, he was like 7 times Mr. Olympia and multiple Mr. Universe. And if you ever went to any gym, it was always Schwarzenegger on the wall.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was just he was just the top guy, really, wasn't he? I mean, until all like the mass monsters came in the late 80s, was it? Yeah, the early 90s, I suppose. I mean, and really changed the aesthetic of bodybuilding.
Yeah.
And Arnold Schwarzenegger was always the man. He was supposed to take
Absolutely.
over Weider, but then when Weider passed, but that didn't really work out, which is why he branched out on his own with the Arnold Classic and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
Yeah.
he's definitely a force of nature. That guy, very
A friend
very
of mine,
driven.
Had the honor of, he was working in a production company, and there was this the speech of Greta Thunberg here in Vienna.
Okay.
And after there was Arnold Schwarzenegger entering the stage. And a friend of mine working for this production company had the honor of, microphoning Arnold Schwarzenegger.
So, oh, really?
All of a sudden you're standing in front of Terminator and you're putting this microphone to his mouth. Probably one of a once in a lifetime kind of thing.
Are they very pro? What's the right word? Climate. Climate change is not the right phrase, but are they very pro saving the planet then in Austria?
Well, it depends who you ask, who you talk to. We have a very ambitious Green Party. They are at the moment in a coalition with the Conservatives, so they are part of the government. And for the first time, you really feel positive effects of political moves and political steps. So, for example, the environmental minister, she introduced a ticket, a so-called Klima ticket, like the climate ticket. It costs not a lot, and with this ticket, you can use all public transport in Austria for a year. So this is a mind-blowing improvement. It's been, super nice to see that if you have the Greens in the government, then you really have steps into the right direction. But obviously, there's opposition. There's a lot of people who still believe that climate change is a hoax or not man-made, who yet have to be convinced by wildfires or by words, whatever. But they need to be convinced that it's about time to take action.
Yeah. I definitely lean on the other side of climate change. But did you see the news from Sweden today where they're going to scrap all renewable energy and they're going to go back to nuclear?
Holy shit! How about swearing on this podcast?
Yeah, you can swear if you want to.
Okay. Holy shit! Like, what is it? What is it all about?
Yeah, they just announced today. I actually saw it on Twitter, so I don't even know if it's true. Actually, I thought I would repeat it. But apparently, they're going to scrap all their plans for renewable energy, solar panels, wind farms, etc., and they're going to start using nuclear power plants.
Yes.
So, I mean, after all, that's the cleanest form of energy there is, as long as it's contained, obviously.
As long as it's contained, that's the big thing. I mean, I'm not enough of a specialist in this respect that I would be good advice from what I know. Nuclear power is can be replaced easily with renewable sources. Like, we have so much sun, we have so much wind, we have so much power of water.
We do have all that, but we just don't have the infrastructure.
But we have the knowledge to how to build the infrastructure, and that's the one side. And then there is also a certain public mindset that needs to be created. Like, we live in a very, very wasting time, I would say. So we do not appreciate resources we have. We don't having a shower for 50 minutes is just not necessary, and flying from A to B to K to X just for, I don't know, a meeting, it's just not necessary. That is not to say that politicians should not take a stance, or should not be the ones who do the interesting and the most relevant things, but also society and the population has to help working towards this goal, wouldn't you say?
I think so. I do think so, but I also see the extremist side of it as well.
Right.
Like, especially in the UK, where you've got all these stop oil fanatics that are just going around and throwing orange paint at people, and like the World Snooker Championships was on not long ago, and they invaded the snooker tables and tried to throw orange paint over the snooker tables, and the Chelsea Flower Show. I mean, the Chelsea Flower Show is a showing of flowers, and they go and throw orange paint over everything. It's not. It's sort of like a counterproductive argument, if you like.
It is. You create some kind of tension between the two sides.
Yeah, and it's driving
again,
people away from the point.
Yeah, yeah. But then again, people are not paying attention to the point. Anyway.
Well, some people pay attention to the point, but when people are doing things like that, it's causing more and more people to turn their back on it. A small minority. It's like a football match when you've got football hooligans. A small minority can ruin it for the majority.
That's true. That's absolutely true. But at a football match with the hooligans, you have people going to the stadium anyway. So you'd have, like, I don't know, 50,000 people in the stadium. But the thing is, people are not yet, it's not enough people paying attention to the fact that we don't have a lot of time left. And with these, I mean, I'm not totally supporting, but I see it as one, I don't know, maybe in 50 years we look back and we say those people were so right to just draw the attention, because it does not get enough attention yet. And if we have wildfires in Austria, and if we have, I don't know where you're based exactly.
I'm based in the Netherlands.
If you, for example, have floodings in the Netherlands and you have, I don't know, move to Austria, then you would say, okay, maybe those people were right in just showing to the world how fucking urgent the situation is.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I would like to move to Austria. Actually, I'm originally from Wales, so I used to live in the mountains, and there's not many mountains in Holland. So
welcome anytime. But just consider this fact, like, if the sea level rises, and I don't know how much exactly, but if it rises a little, there is a big chance that the whole of Netherlands or a lot of big parts of Netherlands are flooded.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the whole country was built off reclaimed land anyway. Especially, especially in the north. I mean, it's all been reclaimed from the sea, so there's a good chance of it being underwater in 30 years, I guess.
Yeah. And then we say, maybe, okay, the only ones who showed us the real urge of the situations were those who threw fucking paint on the snooker table.
Yeah. Or glued their hand to a fucking famous painting.
For example, yeah, exactly. I mean, I also see it as a very destructive sort of move and action, but maybe, just maybe, it's about time to make people realize that it's not even 1 to midnight, it's fucking 5 past midnight.
Yeah.
And that's what we also try to transport and communicate in our music. We have an EP called Everything Comes in Waves, and the 3 songs on it, they're called Elements, Sphinx, and Pacific Shore, and they all deal with this important topic.
Okay. But okay, so are we really trying to save the planet, or are we just trying to save us? I mean, the planet's been here for what, 30 million years or something?
True.
But we haven't been around that long, have we? We've only been around like 15,000 or something, maybe.
You're right.
So are we really doing ourselves a justice because we're trying to save the planet? Because we're not really trying to save the planet. We're just trying to save ourselves.
Well, I think we have to differentiate between those 2 time periods then. If you're right, if we are trying to save ourselves, then it's probably some sort of an innate drive, an innate feeling. I don't have children yet, but one day I will have children, and I want those children to live in an environment that is livable, that is as beautiful as we get to experience the world these days.
Yeah, so that's this sure.
And if we think about the broader sense, obviously, probably human beings are, not the most beneficiary species on the planet. to say
No,
to
we're the
say the
ones that are
least.
wrecking everything, mate.
Exactly,
The
exactly.
monkeys
You're
are not
right.
wrecking it. The lions are not wrecking it. The only fucking people, the only things that are wrecking it is us.
Yeah, yeah, it does.
You know, so wouldn't the planet just be beneficial from a great reset, if you like?
Yeah, could be, could be. But I'm too much a human being to feel the urge of seeing my species, just what's it called, extinct, to go extinct. So obviously, probably would be interesting to see, but I would say plan A would be to
Save yourself.
make sure we hand over planets exactly, hand over a livable planet to the next generations.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, this is a rabbit hole we could go down there because I'm very pro reset, if you like, you
Okay,
know,
it's super
because it's
interesting.
just us that are fucking it up. I mean, like I said, the planet's been here for God knows how long, 30, way, way, way before us, and
Yeah,
the planet will probably still be here way, way, way after us, you know.
yeah.
So
But
it's just that's still there. Sorry.
until the moment that the whole world's population of human beings goes extinct, don't you think there would be just unimaginable suffering?
I don't
Like
know because
the
to
generation
me, I mean, I'm a lot older than you probably. How old are you?
36.
36. Okay, so I'm double your age nearly. Am I? No,
Right.
I'm not. I'm not 72, am I?
You
I'm
don't look
50.
like 72.
Yeah, I'm 57. So, I mean, for me, actually, I, I, I obviously I embrace technology and stuff,
Mm.
but the world, for me, the world was a better place in the 70s and the 80s when we weren't so technologically advanced. You know what I mean? We didn't have mobile phones causing tumors behind your ears, and we didn't have microwaves warming up your food with radioactive nonsense, and so it was very basic. Living was very basic, if you like, and then technology advanced so quickly through the end of the 80s, through the 90s, and into the 2000s. It was like a
And
technological boom, really.
we're only getting started. Like
Yeah,
we'll
exactly.
like exponential growth in technology, that's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, this is like the last what 30 years. We're just scratching the surface, I think.
And that's also where the power lies, right? That's
Yeah,
also can take advantage of in so many respects. We have autonomous cars, we have electric cars, we have so many areas of possible improvement based on technology that I am pretty confident for the future that we will manage to find our ways. But obviously it's trial and error, and we will have a lot of errors along the way.
yeah. There's going to be a lot of errors, obviously. I mean, especially now the big energy companies have come out and they said that they're not going to be stopping oil and gas production for the next 30 years anyway. They seem to be turning around pretty swiftly on the idea of renewable energy.
Yeah.
So, and it leaves me to think that, okay, like if my neighbors are all getting renewable energy, every house gets a solar panel or not a solar panel, but 10, 15 solar panels on the house, and then their costs go down, if you like. What about the poor few at the end of the street that can't afford solar panels?
That's where we
Their
need to.
electricity bills are only going to go up because the people that are using renewable energy are not paying so much to the electricity companies. So through no fault of their own, those people, their way of life is going to go way down because they can't afford to pay their energy bills.
Absolutely. And that's why we need so change. So we need um, a, a shift to renewable energy that is socially based. And we have a very interesting politician from the
You keep
who is
breaking up on me.
advocating for this exact thing. What's that? I'm sorry.
I said you keep breaking up on me. So
Breaking up means like the connection.
yeah.
Oh, that's a shame. Sorry for that.
Yeah, you keep stuttering on me, so it's like it's okay. I miss some of your words.
Does it work now?
Yeah, yeah, it's okay. Yeah,
Does it work good in general?
yeah, yeah. It's been okay. Yeah, but now and again it stutters off.
Sweet, sweet, sweet. So yeah, I was just saying that we need a socially driven change to renewable energies. Obviously, they are expensive in the beginning, and only the more the wealthier people can afford them. So we politicians, society in general, has to make sure that also people who are not as well off are able to afford renewable energy.
Yeah, they should do. Yeah, but I mean, people can't afford to put food on the table, let alone a solar panel on the roof at the moment. The whole of the Western world is in crisis because of sanctions
True.
and such. So, you know,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's a story for another day. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole.
True that. What is it that you generally talk about on Just Chopsing?
Do you know what just chops it means?
Tell me.
Okay, it's a Welsh, I can see I can't even say my words lately. Colloquialism
Mhm.
for chopsing is actually talking back. So it's just a
Right.
Welsh oh God, colloquialism. Colloquialism for talking back. So if you're being chopsy, you're like having a little bit of an argument,
Ah,
or
right.
or so you're just talking back to each other. It can be
And
in a light-hearted way. It could be in a not so light-hearted way.
who's chopsing on your podcast? Is it you or is it the guests?
Both of us, we're both chopsing together.
Just chopsing around. It's a pleasure.
Yeah.
Pleasure chopsing around with you. And yeah, it's a Welsh colloquialism, you said, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I've never been to Wales, unfortunately, but I have so many nice emotional connections to Wales. So
Okay.
really want to go there one day.
Yeah, you should. It's the South Wales. Well, there's all the Wales, the West Coast and everything is really beautiful actually.
I can
So,
imagine.
and it's the same size as the Netherlands.
Yeah.
But in the Netherlands, we've got like almost 18 million people, and in Wales, it's only like 3.2.
How many
So,
sheep?
10 million. So the sheep outnumber the people like 3 to 1.
Direct portions. That's actually the case in New Zealand.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not going to go there now because I could say things about eating meat, but you're probably a vegetarian.
I'm not. I enjoy eating meat a lot, but I try to make sure that it has good origins and biologically proved origins.
Yeah, is the meat expensive then in Austria? Like decent meat?
Ever,
Because you can't even get decent meat anymore in the Netherlands.
I would say, obviously, if you pay a good price. If you want to have shitty salami, for example, you can also get it very, very cheap.
Yeah. Yeah, but
I would say, in general, the price level is very average compared to other countries here in Austria. Like I've been to the UK 2 weeks ago. We played
yeah.
shows there, and especially London is like ridiculously expensive.
Okay.
I've been to Switzerland this weekend for another music project that's more in the direction electronica, techno, deep house, and the prices there are just fucking mind-blowingly high. Like even worse, even higher than in the UK. But then again, you also have cheaper countries than Austria, so I would say
Mm.
we are somewhere in between.
Okay. Yeah, but Switzerland's renowned for being expensive. They're their own little world, if you like.
That's ridiculous. Like for a train ticket, I was like on a train for 1.5 hours. You pay like $80.
Oh, right.
This
Okay.
is like I was really shit. Uh, for a sandwich, you pay I don't know 8 or 9 francs in this case.
Yeah.
For a coffee, 10 francs. It's like, I mean, obviously also the the salaries.
Yeah, the
It's
wages
also
are like 3 times as high as ours, I guess.
exactly.
So,
But yeah.
all right then, mate. All right, well, we'll have to get you back on. We'll have to go down some more rabbit holes.
Say that again. Sorry, that
I
was too
said,
Welsh for me now.
oh, that was too Welsh for you. I said we'll have to get you back on and go down some more rabbit holes.
Yeah. Which ones would you like to go
Oh,
down?
I don't know. You'll have to wait and see. It'll be a surprise. But tell us a bit more about your music then. Have you got any? I mean, you just said you've been on tour to the UK and you've been playing in Switzerland and stuff. Have you got any more tours coming up?
Yeah, we have a show, big homecoming show here in Vienna on Saturday. It's part of a very interesting festival. It's on the intersection of music, art, and fashion. So there will be art shows, there will be exhibitions, and also concerts. This is happening here in Vienna on Saturday.
Okay.
And then in 2 weeks, we're going to Italy, a country we hold very, very dearly, to play 2 shows there in Bologna and Pisa. And in August, we will be back again in Italy for a very interesting festival called Beer Anthology Extravaganza. It's 2 nights. One is synth pop and dream pop, and the other one is metal and hard rock. Okay. And it's a craft beer festival. Like, I'm a big fan of craft beer, of Indian Pale Ale, and I'm really looking forward to go there. But yeah, this kind of closes our great live experience this year. Like, we've released a single in April, and since then we have been touring quite a lot. So as I said, we've been to Croatia for the first time, playing in Zagreb and Križevci. Amazing experiences. Then we've been to England 2 weeks ago. We played in London. We played in Sheffield, which is an amazing city to visit. And also, the spirit there during the concert was just eclectic and ecstatic. I don't know if I've ever seen such a positive interaction with the audience. It was at a place called Sydney Matildas, amazing venue. And then third day on Saturday, we played in Reading at the Oakford Social Club, also a really, really, really great venue. And yeah, that's what we've been up to. And we have also, we also have plans for, releasing more stuff this autumn. So never gets boring with Lucid Dreams.
Yeah, very good. All right. Well, it was lovely to meet you. I sounded a bit, I don't want to say the word, but it was really nice chatting to you, Chopsing. And it was really nice to meet you, actually. And I did think I was going to be meeting a woman. I said to my girlfriend, I've got this girl coming on the podcast. And she was like, have you been cheating on me? I was like, no. But yeah, that is your now it's AB, not your AI anymore. Now it's your AB mascot, if you like.
Exactly.
So yeah, okay, we'll look forward to it. And yeah, I will tag one of your videos on the end of this, so let everybody give a listen, and hope to catch up with you again.
Excellent.
Thank you, David. Thank you for joining me. And yeah, like I said, keep fighting the fight.
You too, buddy. Thanks a lot.
No problem. Thanks, mate.
walk a mile on my own now, 'cause you pointed out a way how to let go. Like a legion, we believe in our powers. We are wanderers and we always need a way to go. And when we finally get lost in the game, it's time to rethink this anchor. We gotta get emotional. We wanna find truth along the way, 'cause we're children of our days. To run a breaking wave, we buckle up our hearts and keep them safe. We get emotional anyway. We gotta sociable. And when I come to call, I wanna find truth along the way. I get emotional, so I say. Anyway.